Welcome to the third episode of our Women's Day special podcast series, Alpha Females in Procurement, The Long Road to Leadership. In this series, we celebrate the women trailblazers in the procurement field who have shattered the glass ceiling and paved the way for others to follow. Today, I am honored to have Donna, an executive leader with over 25 years of global experience in procurement. Donna is the CEO for America's Chain IQ, a leading global independent procurement services company. So get ready to hear some hard-hitting and thought-provoking revelations from Donna as we delve into the procurement challenges faced by women. So Donna, it's an absolute pleasure to have you join us today. Your extensive experience in the procurement field is truly impressive, and I am thrilled to have the opportunity to learn from you. But with no further ado, let's jump right into our first question. What inspired you to pursue a career in procurement, and what are some of the challenges you faced in the early stages of your career?
So I would say I did not know formally what procurement as a career was until I look back and realized how early in my life I actually loved it, right? So a little bit about my background might explain this. I grew up in the Soviet Union in the 70s, 80s, and the scarcity of supply was a very real, I would say, reality, right, of our day-to-day life. So trying to figure out the basics of, how to find the right size shoes and toilet paper, that was the daily struggle. So I realized how quickly I became resourceful, figuring out where was the demand, where was the supply, what I could trade for our family. And I had a lot of fun doing that. So I appreciated the art of the fundamental kind of art of procurement, which is assurance of supply. Of course, later on in life, I learned all of the different aspects of how wonderful the profession could be by having an opportunity to work very closely with CFOs and earlier in my career with CPOs as well, and appreciate how procurement is placed smack in the middle of the business and is there to enable an outcome, that could be quantified, and savings could be quantified in speed and new product co-innovation. And I think that inspired me early on in my career, just how it could challenge me from both the learning of the diversity of what you buy, source, solution for, the level of both innovation and creativity that the field requires, right? And figured out the options for the business to be successful, but also paying tremendous amount of detail to, the T's and C's of contract and analysis in order to make decisions with confidence, right, for the business and speed. So I loved how it challenged me, my curious mind, and I loved how much I've learned, and the intersection between, again, that internal business demand and need and the external world, everything it has to offer is just fascinating.
Yeah, it's true that many people, not women in particular, that I interview tell me that they did not start in procurement. They did not think about going into procurement when they were in college. A lot of people tell, "Oh, I just fell into procurement," and I think that's changing, though. I think that now younger women have access to some training in college that are on procurement, which was not really the case when we were in college back in the days in the last century.
No, I majored in economics. Yeah, my major was or something to do with business, which was economics at that time, and something to do for my heart and soul, which was Japanese studies. So I did the double major in that. But just yesterday, I did a guest lecture at one of the local universities here in New Jersey to the supply chain class about procurement and kind of the real world of experience of it. And it was so great to see the curriculum, the engagement. It's wonderful that we're moving in that direction.
No, I agree. I'm a civil engineer, so that has that's nothing to do. The only thing that I can use from civil engineer is that I'm good with numbers. That's it.
Yes. Yes.
So moving on to our next question. What do you believe is the biggest challenge facing women in procurement today, and how can we address it?
I don't think it's procurement specific, but of course I speak, for my experience, which is largely in procurement. And what I've personally, experienced, and I see a lot of my colleagues, through the years experience, we strive for perfection, right? So I think to some extent, it's explained by maybe the school experience where women and girls, young girls in particular, are defined, define their success by their academic achievement and likability, right, from the teachers and others. And we carry that forward into the workplace, which, at least, for me, starting 25 years ago, was still largely dominated by my male colleagues, and especially in the senior roles. So immediately, I felt that, okay, there's just such a huge gap to learn. And I almost threw away the skills you learned in school, which are curiosity, learning agility, that attention to detail. The challenge was to overcome this need for perfection and the need to know just as much as everybody. And what it did then in turn forced me to think, what is my unique differentiated value? I might not know, marketing, let's say, or chemicals to that extent of my colleagues. And that's okay, because what I bring, and I had to, think of how to fill in those blanks, it would be maybe great analytical, skills, or ability to connect the dots or follow through like nobody, could. And it really helped me find the confidence, with my unique abilities. And of course, then bring up the other skills and knowledge. It was time as well. But don't strive for perfection. Don't forget what you've learned, in terms of those softer skills. Take the bold moves. And I learned a lot actually from a lot of very strong female leaders and male as well, on how to walk into the situations of uncertainty, and the situations where it's not clear, like who's got the ball, and it's great. Actually, what benefited me greatly, raising my hand and saying, okay, I'll volunteer, because I'm not seeing, that somebody else is raising their hand. And I think those are the moments of courage, probably I would describe them, that propelled me for the opportunities that positioned me where I am today.
I understand. I can relate to kind of take action, make yourself visible instead of waiting for people to see you. Just, take a stand and say, I'm here, I can help, and I have something to bring to the table. I was not in that situation because there was 2% women in the technical field in my company back in the day. So I was the 2%. I was visible, being the only woman under and the only person under 45 in the room. Usually you're visible, but so now, but thank you. Let's move to the last question, and we're turning now to those younger women who want to start out in procurement. What advice would you give them, and how can they best prepare for the challenges that they may face?
I would say, it probably would be presumptuous for me to give advice. Everybody has their experience, and I will share, my learnings from those. But I would say, kind of what I shared before, don't strive for perfection, but strive for action and learning. And because if you take the action, you learn something, you reflect. It's a circle, that really builds the confidence and competency. I would say also walk into your area of discomfort, embrace that. That's where the real change, real growth, and learning happens. So embrace what you don't know. And I would say remind yourself that you're probably, like most of the people, don't assume that everybody knows something, that you don't. Most of the humans I find are actually in that zone of discomfort, but some choose not to, take a step forward. And if you do, I think the benefits are phenomenal in this profession in particular, because it's so full of diverse experiences that you could apply the skills again, from creativity, from analytics, logic, all of that, to relationships. So important. Oh my goodness, I how can I forget? So build those, both with suppliers, They have a lot to teach you with your peers, with your stakeholders, and I think it enriches your own experience and skills as well. And then the other thing I would say is women in particular are probably overthinking the concept of networking.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say, again, maybe it's like on par with this perfection, build your net, say yes to doing something for somebody else, introduce somebody, help them, share an insight. I feel like I'm the beneficiary now of those relationships where I could call like on my speed dial, the network to pick a brain. And the more frequently we do it, the maybe smaller nuggets that don't have to be big, just pay it forward, support each other. And I think it will, again, enrich both your network and your fulfillment on the role.
No, yeah, absolutely. I think it's very good advice to remember that you're not alone. Being men and women actually that will support you. Be humble, ask for help. People will help you. Like 99.99% of the time, they'll be very happy to help a younger professional. And I think, as you were saying, a perfection is. We have a saying in French that say, the better is the enemy of the good.
Yes, we have the same. Yes.
And I think it's
the enemy of good. Yes.
Yeah, it's so relevant. And especially, I think you're right that women tend to put on themselves too much expectations about what they do, and they want to show that they know and that you can't cut them off. Let them cut you off. Say, I don't know.
Comfortably, yes.
Please explain to me,
yes.
so I understand, and people will help you. And that's so powerful in the relationship, and especially in the technical world.
Yes, I think you're so spot on, asking for help. And I feel it breaks down the barriers, actually. Yeah. It makes way for real relationships and for real help and authenticity in the workplace and everything we do, by saying, coach me, help me. Here's what I know, here's what I don't know, and then of course, follow through with your learning. So, but don't try to impress. That's going to actually create the opposite effect.
Wonderful. I think that's the perfect time and moment to say, just to wrap up. Thank you so much, Donna, for your time and for your insights.
Thank you.
And that concludes our conversation with Donna, a true trailblazer in the procurement field. We hope that her insight and advice have provided you with valuable takeaways on how to overcome challenges and achieve success in procurement. Join us in a couple of days for another inspiring episode featuring a woman who is conquering it all in procurement. Bye. Au revoir.